가족들 이해를 못하는 거죠. 이제 봐보나 존중하는 줄 문제 봐도 쓸수 이해를 못해. 이 저 간들이 있으니 존중하는 점만에 아침에 얘는 손질이 존중한다 관계 다이 야가 밴드 소리가 가는 만성에 bakın yolu kanı son soruyu geçiyorum yolu 안성에 봐 힘을 얻어 가는 그런 기술이 나오는 거 되는 아치아들 괜히 나오는 밖에 저 가지는 가지는 약으로 예타지는 얘를 좀 기억을 못 해. 이거는 신체 많은 거 간가 때는 판 기비지 네 동로지 또 반하지 계산이 손지 공원 말아봐 내가 이제 주고 있더니 기대를 신청하는 줄 알았으니까 그런 봐 너다 ತಂ데 이제 기회도 좀 하는 거 가져다 뭔지 아무나 좀 되니 이제는 뭐 체육이 어떻게 해야 돼? 어떤 소위 되는 아마 집 소위 되는 뭐지로 소위 찾았다가 소위가 있지. 오늘 대비다 소위가 나오는데 아마 뭐지요? 비는 되는 거지. 다른 이제 아주 이제는 뭐지? 뭐지? 되니 롱이지. 손진이 이런 뒤촌도 삼바. 라디오나 이게 갖고 올리기. 이제 무슨 조선은 그 가지고 하지 않고 마시러. 이게 너무 하마치 산스. 예. 야고하면 상관이. 그래서는 나는 선들이 취지 나는데 마시지 비니 되는 것이 소리가 나오시. 아주 세요라. 얘는 제가 뭐 뒤산 이쪽이 가는 데나야 되는데 근데 차려야 이제 나는 나도 찌 돈이 얘네들이 좋아하는 시선도 좋아 차창을 시비래 이놈은 강가 너는 강가 뛰는 내 조지들 뒤 같은 거 뒤에 야
So initially it talks about the greatness of the author and the greatness of the text. And yesterday we already talked about the greatness of the author, Lama Tsongkhapa, in conjunction with an explanation of the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga. And so this text, the condensed Lam Rim by Lama Tsongkhapa, has as its root the Lamp to the Path by Lama Atisha, and this text, the Lamp of the Path, is the Lam Rim prototype, which even though it just consists of a few pages, contains all the stages of meditation and development on the path to enlightenment, from very beginner stage up until to the attainment of enlightenment. And Atisha condensed all the various practices that have to be done and that one has to go through in the practices of the three types of beings, or the three types of beings and practitioners, and as such, so is the prototype that forms the root of Lama Tsongkhapa's Lam Rim. And all the points of practice and the path, they are all complete in that text. Then initially, to start out one's practice with the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga is, I think, very effective, and also as was mentioned by his Holiness, the Dalai Lama is a very good way of starting one's Lam Rim practice. In general, there are various ways of visualizing a merit field, merit fields where the Buddha is the central figure, and there are also other types of merit field. So here in this type of merit field, the central figure is Lama Tsongkhapa and his two main disciples, and they are surrounded by the deities of the different classes of Tantra, and by starting one's practice with this Guru Yoga offering the 7 limbs, then contains all the important sutra practices. So in the practice of the 7 limbs, all the important sutra practices are contained, and in such a way it is a very good way of starting out one's Lam Rim practice. Anyway, this Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa was written down by a Lama called Palden Sangpo, but it originates from Lama Tsongkhapa's own speech. I think so. It was probably expressed by Lama Tsongkhapa, but then written down by this Lama Palden Sangpo, and there are many commentaries that concern themselves with the practice of the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, and as such it is a very important tool, a very important practice for attaining liberation and progressing along the path.
Any cuts no you know. Yes, some matter to be memory. Sound on him. Couldn't know we lose on the child. And you continue to us on your own. Okay, couldn't know we lose you. So you don't tell us. I'm a deep on that. Need some down the ocean. And the very couldn't know we lose. Lamna you want to tell it.
And also from before I forgot to mention, so there, of course, there are also many other, like there are also other visualizations of the merit field in the where then one visualizes the Lama Doshan in the center of the merit field, but here. And then it's surrounded by all the various groups of deities and idams and lineage lamas and so forth. But here one follows the tradition of the all-encompassing jewel. The tradition of the all-encompassing jewel is the easier type of visualization, where one has just a very simple visualization which is then regarded as the embodiment of all the different types of refuges and deities and so forth. So here, because the central visualization is basically only three figures, it also belongs to this tradition of the all-encompassing jewel.
I think choice was something Carson and then Susan Amanas, you do. Any is something. Is a kabushi. Long short. Visualize. But telling this kabu jumper, long blue moon sun. Sirako Thomas would be doing it on the Patasa, some member sick. Lui conseille de l'ongité des chats of silence. Then one is a man, the meaning of the yeah.
And then after having invoked the merit field and performed the assimilant practice, then one goes to the recitation of the Mixima, which acts as the mantra recitation, and one does the visualization of the coming down of the light rays and the nectar. So initially one visualizes that from the crown of Lama Tsongkhapa, while the light ray comes down to one's own crown, and then through that light ray, white nectar flows down, entering one's body and completely purifying one's body-mind continuum, and purifying all one's negativities and non-virtuous karmas and so forth, and one's body then becomes completely crystal clear and a light, like a light ray.
Bien, no me summer, the Kirji, the summer, music about the song to kind of music about Samsa. This song need killing the Nikabut Kilja, here on shores, at the name of the no, we detained to the basically to the Kanga, probably.
Yes, so the visualization goes from the heart of Lama Tsongkhapa and his two disciples, respectively. A light ray emanates, which then joins, forming one single light ray that comes to one's crown, and then from their hearts, then white nectar flows down through those light rays into oneself through one's crown, then all the atoms of the nectar are white.
only to blow column hingy no she amana hingy don't go man call don't to blow told that mimi them answer to blow told yan only them to blow told yan didn't saying the hingy that hingy told the
and so while one is doing this visualization, then one recites the 4 or 5 line praise that was said yesterday. And in the first line, he translated it, so you are Avalokiteshvara, a great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence. So this is also sometimes translated as like a compassion lacking a focus, so the compassion not aimed at true existence. Compassion lacking focus, it means it's a compassion that is held by the wisdom realizing emptiness, and the lack of focus is the lack of focusing on true existence. So it doesn't mean that this compassion actually understands emptiness. What it means is that this compassion is combined with the wisdom that realizes emptiness, and so has as its catalyst, as its facilitator, the wisdom realizing emptiness. So that's all it means.
This is in I'm going to watch you. Yes, some of those that to make chamber on good jungle. Chamber almost that champion to the Javan, almost door right to the 55. That's it. When I don't do she wrong. Penny, young on the Jimenez. That don't go to she on Chipay.
And so this type of compassion, not aimed at true existence, compassion lacking focus is the supreme out of the different types of compassion. And then in the second line it says, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom. So the Manjushri is the master of the stainless wisdom realizing emptiness. There is no one who has superior wisdom to Manjushri. And so here is showing the nature of Lama Tsongkhapa's qualities through saying that he's like a Manjushri, then as well as, or that he is Manjushri, then as well as a Vajrapani, destroying hordes of demons without exception. So similarly to Manjushri being the master of stainless wisdom, there is no one who has a greater power and ability than Vajrapani.
시작한 니를 천지만으로 진행해서 공격해 티투 champion. 뒤에는 찌와요 그래. 찌와면 지 전제로 이제 생각이 찌일에 되시면 양바순들이 디시와잉이 공식된 참은 찌 온글은 대자는 내봐도 편반바지 진행자 대자는 예리만 말은 거죠. 이제 찌와티 온글다. 대자는 예리만 대자는 취시하면 가실 시고야 가실 배고야 단리와만 이제 찌일에도 찌 대자는 내봐도 편반바지 두요. 그걸 내봐도 편반 두되게 지내는 걸 이시하고 지면은 then not siguro is ishi thasimba tele ishi je damba sonje ishi danjuno sanji malugo nil kondu chudinza danjuno sanji malugo sonje damba son ishi ani kondu sama achemi hibi singi tanji gori sunjan de tan seyoro or tati no jide sense no sonje ti yona ngad ja and the Jagging in a chances of the anti-Ogura can be into seeing into Nubian to design and just done as did it. What did it? In that changes of the anti and the Bamba as the Jeremy. Rava, what is it?
So basically it talks about the qualities of knowledge, love and compassion, and power and ability. So those three qualities, and in order to be able to fully benefit sentient beings, those three qualities need to be developed to the utmost capacity. As for example, Lama Tsongkhapa has. So, first of all, the quality of knowledge is necessary. The understanding all aspects of the objects of knowledge, all aspects of existence, and then the quality of love and compassion, which makes it, for example, possible to teach and regard everyone equally and not discriminating, favoring some and pushing some away, teaching some and not teaching others, and so forth. But for example, if one would have only this quality of perfect love and compassion, not the quality of wisdom, then even though one's actions would be wholly meant, of course, to be beneficial, because of one's lack of wisdom, one would make mistakes. So one needs to have a perfect wisdom that one doesn't make mistakes in one's altruistic activities, and then also one needs to have the power and ability to engage into the necessary actions based on one's love and compassion. So in order to fully benefit the sentient beings, one needs to have these three qualities of knowledge, compassion, and power. And here what one should understand is that Lama Tsongkhapa possesses these three qualities completely. And so then one has to recite a certain number of nikmas And the initial visualization is the visualization of purifying impurities.
Shira maybe Shira the going Shira Chiwadu. Shira Chiwadu the Garrison, Tibare, Bajit Lama some totally easy, Gabo some truth. Indian did chop. They don't show the soup. Being on this mud density is Shabolita, Shabolina, orange is on the inside. And the Maka. This is Chashi to Jeromuchi Koshi, really. So, yes, jogging Koshi, in Catan Santon. You don't believe no touching sitting on some something. Yeah, that is something.
And and then one can do the visualization for generating wisdom. Here initially one can do the visualization for the generation of a great wisdom, where after having done the visualization for the purification of impurities, and here again from the heart of Lama Tsongkhapa and his two disciples, light rays emanate, which then join, forming a single light ray that goes to the crown of one's head. But then the nectar that emanates from their heart is orange in color, and the atoms of the nectar consist of manjushris. So the atoms of the nectar are small manjushris. And then you have to visualize that your body is completely filled up with the nectar, the atoms of which are the aspect of manjushri.
Really easy to get on the easy train. When top machine from the beginning, Rongi yet Gansel, Jeton Jambian, so that it's Janton. Chashi Padum was sent on Telon, Rongi Pain. There are the more images of the Jeton Jambian end of
and then from the many manjushris that are in one's body, light rays emanate into the 10 directions, invoking manjushri and also all the other Buddhas in the aspect of manjushri from their natural abodes, which are then are drawn back and absorbed into oneself, and one at that point then should visualize that one has become the actual manjushri. So that in such a way one generates a great wisdom.
Someone then found it. She had this to some off and the wrong tournament. That is to each. In married, we remember take the year. To so can what you done. Sent us there to something she had. That you got in and answered the body. Don't turn it solid. She had chops on something and you nobody working.
And yeah, so one should visualize that all the stains of karma and the darkness of ignorance flames of afflictions have been purified, and one has generated the wisdom that is concomitant with one's main consciousness that understands directly all aspects of the Dharma. So one is instantaneously able to completely understand each and every aspect of Dharma. And so then, so this great wisdom is wisdom that can discern clearly and unmistakably the different practices, and also the things that have to be abandoned, being very clear about what one has to abandon, and being very clear about what one has to practice, what one has to generate. And so then after having generated this wisdom, then one can go on to the absorption of the guru. Here there are, this is done in 3 stages. So initially there is the verse where one it says, "O glorious and precious Guru, come to take your lotus upon my head, and keep me safe in your great kindness, bestow me basically powerful attainments of the Holy Spiritual Mind. And so here first of all, the left and right thrones on which the two disciples sit merge with the central throne, and the left and right disciples merge with Lama Tsongkhapa, and then Lama Tsongkhapa comes above the crown of one's head, and then in the next verse one invites Lama Tsongkhapa to come down and take sort of a residence on the lotus and moon seat at one's heart. Here there are two possibilities. One can either visualize Lama Tsongkhapa dissolving into light, and then that light descending through one's central channel into one's heart chakra, and there then merging with one's primordial consciousness, and in such a way one's primordial consciousness becoming one with Lama Tsongkhapa's consciousness. One can also just visualize the figure of Lama Tsongkhapa descending one's central channel, but then the meditation on one's mind, one's primordial mind merging with Lama Tsongkhapa's mind is the same. So one's mind becoming one with Lama Tsongkhapa's mind is the essence of the Guru Yoga practice. It's the same for all types of Guru Yoga practices. This merging of one's mind with the teacher's mind is the actual Guru Yoga practice through which one receives the great blessings that are associated with the Guru Yoga practice.
Okay. In the time, the day number of the time Serapin the Jawa Sangha Pasang in the Tanumata, Yuri Tita, to some one, Serapin the Jawa Sangha Pasang, usually the Jane of Love in digital government. Seramobuti is in the channel of Jesus on the chair. Want to matter if the channel is on the channel of the hero? That's it. When they are moving to dinner, that means when they continue to work. And those are what in fact. One day, teach you. One by the tail of Malongo in the car. And then diving him payment then you diving him payment then you Lama showing him by the Tamba you get. When you put Tamba you say the real wrong in Hinkalama showing me how wrong to look shown to come from Mata by the children that Tamba you take that. You know, not the image in it. Change it out to the channel thing. But the channel says the channel says you are here. Yeah.
And then, so here in this version it's done in the same verse, and then there was one requests the Lama then to remain at one's heart until the attainment of enlightenment. So that is the request for the stabilization of the blessing, and then after that then come the dedications. So there can be a variety of dedications.
That's all. And then you continue about the Tamba use. Shon't you matter about the Tamba use? That is what I okay. Tell me, Miss Wendy saying that. That the Metsemi Tongam so with that. Metsemi Tongam Bomb Tajisona, Metsemi Leon saying, and all Leon to Metsemi.
And so that is the practice of the absorption of the teacher, and then making a request for him to abide until one's attainment or enlightenment. And if one accumulates 100,000 Mixima recitations, then that constitutes a how would you say, like a retreat, which makes one suitable to engage into the activities. 100,000.
100,000 tele around the pay. Any regards in the children, maximum one.
And so after having done 100,000, one becomes suitable to engage into the different activities based on the Lama Sankara Yoga.
Okay. Piela Tileka Mongosujo said that you saw the tail, Missing Position, Sada Tipon, Young Missing Point, Sarah Cardi, Young Missing Point Cardi, Tamongo singing, take a moment. Nedan Missing Point, Chatu Missing Point singing. Good. Says that the sheet Maria says in a low sense. Me, that you should school. Sarah, Amber, you're do the guys who do much of when you're
says Shingata, I mean, Lodo Yahuman chair. I mean, Shingata, the Makam Rua, Chow Madame, Tichua, come to Dinara, and see and come to the Toko Tuyo, said, and he thinks a Machan not from that, from his town, and the college town, and the handle of
says in Mangal Timbatan Melch,
charging
things and Melch. In my bed, don't you cushion need Jesus Lodo. Says on King. Sarah Sena, Helra, Sarah. Zasin, Zadio, Zade with the Shadow Rungo. Zade with the Rungo and the Shadow. The Johnson, no Telchi, Zadi, Janity, Mabuja, Yabu. That is a Gamason, with him going to do it. Yes, that Amber. And then do the dealers, but
so because there is a variety of activities that one can engage in on the basis of the Mixima practice, such as also the prevention of droughts, the prevention of hail, and other natural disasters, is also possible on the basis of the Mixima recitation.
Judge said the kind of Cambodia. Judge. Judge, that is because judges say your attention to get it on them. To just sounds a chat more in the attention to get it on the attention to get it. Child to it. Nice dog, child. Then do the son. 때 사이즈가 공식 건 무슨 건조요. 그래서 말로
고란 차줄래 고치 차줄세지
제주시 대려 추세비 첼 это их это действительно да теперь надо себе вот делом быть соединение на сцене соединение номер мобиль вот это соединение тогда что не что так говорит каждый там надо драма на journée теперь идёт танцы Piapasiate, Sojin, Piapasiate, Namatongapal, Piapasiate, Sambi Tansel, Kadi Gis Chamber to Sambi Tansel, some unity dance, any dance, Motinion ready. No, I don't go to much here and the tendency to something and then you might so music in the channel, son, Gadinajamadin then here. Gadinajamadin, anything that only call chocolate your dinner. Lama tendency sata Deliana de Michoasi and Siguro Oasi, Titan Semason. What tell you to the Aborda? You know, Yan Karin Tinon Kachuda Yorita. Chogati Shini Abord. And do each other Tagadina singing that, Manando singing that. So you are sure Mumbushiramo. And not Cholamombo did Kahade. No, Senato Kahade. Yeah.
So anyway, there is a variety of practices that then can be engaged in upon the having done this recitation of 100,000 mitzvahs. And actually also before I forgot to mention also one visualization when one does the coming down of the nectars and so forth. One, for example, can also do purification of spirit harms and so forth. And so it is very useful to become familiar with a practice such as the Lama Tsongkhapa or Guru Yoga. Here, having the different points of the way one properly relies upon the spiritual friends are present, such as the reliance in thought and the reliance in action, and then in the reliance in thought, the generation of faith and the generation of respect, which we already talked about yesterday, one being generated through the remembrance of their qualities, the other one is remembered through the remembrance of the kindness, and then visualizing the teacher, and then going through the different stages of the seven-limbed puja, then engaging into the mitzvah recitation and doing the visualizations and then the dedication. So from the sutra point of view, there is this Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, and then there are also some other prayers. They contain all the important points of the sutra practice, and if one it's good if one becomes familiar with one of those practices, and from the point of view of Tantra, then of course there are also other pujas, but their practice is different.
Unity Mali in the wrong side. The new Jinji Washington, young Segura. Yes, I don't know almost all Kino. They remember taking down the wooden side, something like that at the Apple issue. Yeah, but in Yamuni telling me someone to come to Sandwich Salad. Someone to come to that, someone to buy the Sandwich Society to you. English that is a son. So on the Bashir, so on the big city, so on the side. You know, Coron, the two big G. The attack has not really good. The men cover on chin on township number some go. I'm kind of something. More down to Shabbat, Gadina teacher, more down to Mumadi. Shown down to Shabbat. Don't you say number some? Dear mother, you can. So that you young, they go married. More down to Shabbat, from the number of Shabbat. Young Majoki, no due to some young Majoki. Township number soon rolling the inside. It's not that the Laman you simply put a Laman Laman Tebashan Loro initially Tebashan Titon in the I'm to Jerome, which is not too long, but Jerusalem. Then Tierra Tebashi, Aman Tebashi, Jensi Association on you. Yana Machin Kartavashi and Dragondo, Sisters also Yenti, Susan Gonso Yenti, two more Yenti, Jesus and Tell Sopi, John Shiva, we not saying but to sort of Moshi. That's a Yenti in the chosen Jerusalem, Yaba. Monte, intending and Ramnadia, Tony, Ramnadia, with yeah. The church can make it do in your carrying in a thing control you are. Look at Colonel in the church and magic with any condition and Colonel people. At that time, Moas in a PLC to it. Shabakina and Damala Pidin, you know. Shawatana and Pinon Sajin. That's on the hero, Shawat, Shabbat. Shabasina, Pinon Sajin. Shabbat soon never trouble about Amos on Sunday. And such on Sunday in the yeah.
Then, of course, there are also other pujas done in according to the tantric system. However, then here one has to take the initiation into the deity, and that is always comes in conjunction with the acceptance of certain vows and pledges and commitments. While here there is no such complication. One doesn't have to take an initiation, one doesn't have to accept any commitments or vows, and all the sutra, one can engage into all the different sutra practices in conjunction with this practice. So for example, in the morning, one can do the generation of bodhicitta, the generation of the motivation of bodhicitta in conjunction with this practice. Then in conjunction with this practice, one can engage into prostrations or into the practice of making offerings, the practice of confession, which is very important, and then of course also the practice of dedication. All the one can engage into all the different sutra practices in conjunction with the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga.
DJ Seba Monas, Soma DJ and Hamba Mambo Yajoris, and so on the Poniomers. Then Hero Gamba Mona, Hero Gonset, Soma Handam the Ganga, Moonlight. Namagam Pon Messi. Indeed, quite a young son, one Tony, no pot of a Julhin to Senate and to Sujis Longer.
As Miller River once remarked, Miller River, who was a tantric practitioner himself, someone who kept all the vows and pledges purely, so he remarked that there is no better recitation than making requests to one's guru, and there is no better generation stage practice than meditating on one's mind, being one with the mind of one's guru. In general, there are many different types of recitations and mantras to be found in the tantric practice, but the best type of recitation is said to be the making requests to one's teacher, and then there are also many different types of generation stage practices that one can engage in Tantra. However, the best meditation to be done is to meditate on oneself, being one with one's teacher. So that, for example, in Milareva's case, his teacher was Madhva, from whom he received all the teachings and lineages, and so he said that the best thing he found to do is to make a request to his teacher. In our case, we received our lineage from Lama Tsongkhapa, so we can do the same with Lama Tsongkhapa.
Manaripa the Kipare, Tajuji Manaripa, Tajuji Pen Kebin, Johnny Matoki, no one should call Dal Mission, no one should teach government home. Manaripa no good. What bigger? Only Kolopati don't it to Lamaso and Diamond, to teach you the Jero to get the Kolonama. Thing the guns that long they started to that I to control. That's I did the chin gas at some place. Sayachet. The Sayachet chin pen got Masunchi is chained, Masunchi Chamberlain, Saget to tell us you. You could talk to the Ayah Chuli, the Telayama Chili, but you do it. And tell and tell us, Sanjota, the Tuesday. Then control the sonatone. Constantly got the painters, even though I show you that good. Then the chicken got to do some legal chambers and legal uses saying this. Me taking the song you do, legal and nothing but not a good job. Until not tell a check this and your juice and put it. Don't mind your juice, your juice could be long with reason to get skipped. I take it you are saying, then good. So on that. Jerome to the Swanda. And you can do it around with hands on that, they there or that. You know, more than so much time, this is Lama time. Yeah. Long. To the year. Ah. You are so sad, you mean, sad your mother. To get it, because the thing is on which it's always a mother. You know, Zobujo is she did this at that. You could try a home change at home. Home was something Mosojin to me that on the jealous and called Kuyama. You call Yana sound long. You could have seen it. You could so and down.
So then also Agyao and Sapa, who was in his practice like a Milarepa, and it was someone who was not at all attracted to possessions, wealth, fame, and so forth, while after having meditated for a long time in his cave, in a meditative absorption, then because of a lack of food, decided that he needed to go down to some of the houses in the villages and ask for some food. So he went to this house of a wealthy family and asked for some food. But they were all very busy, sort of running around doing different things, and they were saying, of course, we will give you some food, but since you don't really have much to do, and we at the moment we're quite busy, we have something important going on, we're quite busy. Let's just wait a little bit, and then when we have finished all the things that we have to do, all the important things that we have to do, then we will give you some food. And then Gyalpo and Sapa thought, actually, all the activities that they sort of think as very important are actually all quite meaningless. So, but still, they think themselves to be very busy, but actually, the activities that they think are so important, they're actually quite meaningless. So now I'm actually engaged into the activity of attaining enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings in one short lifetime. So actually I'm much more busy than them. so he didn't wait around. Went straight up to his cave. And but unfortunately, because he was so malnourished, he was pushed over by strong wind, and
lack of habitat.
So it was actually what I thought first, then I discarded it. So he was pushed over by wind, but he had this disease, what is called like a wind disease, and because of being very malnourished, and it's possible that one gets this type of problem. And so because of that, then he sort of fell over, and then he made he made many requests to his teacher subsequently. Okay, so here the significance is that he didn't make many requests to the different Buddhas and the deities, which of course he knew many beings. Having meditated for many years, but to whom he directed his requests was his teacher. So a teacher to Chugidoji who was actually also a direct disciple of Lama Tsongkhapa.
Could you choose the Koron and say Lamare? Tombo ko Rungulan do at to choose the gym. Could choose the young Nadura that on the hill of my friend was in the Yogudura. To choose the Koronade in Romanad and Pen. You could see what you told the Jelum Bucci. Yamba, the Losan, some with the calling Jim because on the lagging chew so. You know so. Soon they get you. Madam Paradis for using you. So you chew the sound, set and Jaltula. So you chew doji senses on. Dealing with Ham. And to chew doji saying the Cassitel and Jaltula. Gil. They could give it. You could tumble naturally these zoologists, John Shawasindo. These zoologists, John. Then you can only give Zongon, Channel Rungol showed it to see the gun, German ability, showed it. You could tell and roll it. Then isn't the Kuchadasi, Zon Kuchadasi, Zon Chadayabushiraman. No yapon the jeans and he put the jeans at it. Don't taste training Sunday yourself. Then that call on the sound of it near no ship on Sade, two on Sade, near ship on Sade. There's a damage hanging with the Thomas and shaving sun. Then the sand not on the moment shaving do something. Then to teach you the unity could taste your skin, choosing one, choosing. Chelo carried not human knowing that it is. This had the more to tell my data and send not on the moon, change more than your own duty. Look at Saint City. Saint City, I tell the sensitivity, motive in sensitivity, motive, sensitivity, tomb of some of then it goes sensitivity, son of the then could rise the Yambal son of Mato. And the start on the son of Son. And then Toba the young days and change mobile maybe related. Then you could talk about with sand toned. I could choke tones the son of that. Choke. Then to you can do that. Dining choke tones, I was saying, sand choke tones. Toba Tanjit Jay sand, Toma Yapushi was the choking says. It took you the choke medicine. Toba Rabats drawings in a dear Ganja Shitani, and the Chilchi. Chuk told you did. The Chuk told you over the Chilai, I call your deal. Then you could tune that gone seats and gone go say it. Patrick Chuji Doji, sensitivity and notice. Yamba Chepati, Tanadas. Come my Yamba Yomana, Kanga Kana knows you. That Toba sent Toba the territory son sent the Omaji, the Kuyabuji, the Mipa sang change the day to yourself. Chuk the Toma sent me, but the Yamba Chapati, and that's on that. Yamba Chapati, and that's it. Do you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, so this.
The Doji changes sound, Chetel Sonji, you can use it. Then with Nama, Nanka, nothing to
yeah, so his Gyawa and Sapa's teacher was a direct disciple of Lama Tsongkhapa called and he, out of Lama Tsongkhapa's direct disciples, there were they called it three Vajras, three disciples who were said to have attained the state of unification, and this was one of them. So he had attained what is called the rainbow body, And so he was the root guru of Gyawa and Sapa. And Gyawa and Sapa, after having retired to the hermitage, or having retired into isolation, he didn't find that his mind improved in any way. So after having practiced for some time, he didn't find that there was any change in his mind, and he sort of, now I have abandoned the family, and I have abandoned the life in the village, in the city, and I have abandoned also wealth and all the worldly distractions, and I've gone into physical isolation. However, my mind still seems to be occupied with all those things all the time. And he went to his teacher. So his teacher called up on him, having heard about his problem, and gave him what is called an introduction into the nature of the clear and knowing nature of the mind. And then Gyawa and Sapa went back to the hermitage and meditating on the clear nature of the mind that he had been introduced to. And through that meditation, he achieved a subsiding of the cause conceptual thought process. Upon the subsiding of the cause conceptual process, he thought that he had a realization of the Dharmakaya. But then again, he was corrected by his teacher, who explained to him that the mere subsiding of the cause conceptual process is not an attainment of the Dharmakaya. However, what he definitely now what he sort of can definitely conclude from his realization is that he has, without any doubt, the ability to attain the Dharmakaya. So through having a direct experience of a pacification of the thought process, one can have the definite conviction that it is possible to attain the Dharmakaya. And then from then on, Gyawa and Sapa became very enthusiastic about meditation and single-pointedly engaged into the practice of meditation. And then he as we said before, I remained in physical isolation, but my mind still remained occupied with all the worldly things. But now I have attained the mental isolation, which is the superior isolation. Yeah, so he said, I got introduced to the clear knowing nature of the mind by my guru, Translator, and now I abide in superior isolation. And through that experience, then he became very enthusiastic about about meditation and engaged single-pointedly into the practice of meditation.
Soji Sanda, Yella Chepaki, Patiano, Galing Rupi, Tusu Gunan Chel, so Sabat, the Vajaman Sabat, Kiliki that was done, the Temsin. So soon I was done, I said that Yellow Witch and Munet on the Soji Kamudo, Colo Jeton Jamu, which you are. I don't know if you Raman. Until again, not to Ganjan and the Short San and the Chapapin and the two Chamberlain Salo and that two saw one, two saw it. Did however, my town to see it. Yeah, that's the Mogocha. In two such Chamberlain. Ita ngol di lam na ju tan sin so yi san de zo ge de ting de ti zang ba cha de yang de che ta de ni ga cha le da da chu la chu ji cha xian de se da ya da de le tong
yeah, so initially at the start of one's Lam Rim meditation and to engage into this a Guru Yoga practice is very meritorious. One accumulates a great amount of merit by doing this practice with Lama Tsongkhapa, who is an actual Buddha, an embodiment of Manjushri, and by engaging into the various practices of the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, then one engages into all the important practices mentioned in the sutras, and in such a way then can build up one's accumulation of merits, which then benefits also all the other practices that one wants to engage in, and so then that sort of completes the like the first point, the explanation of the greatness of the teacher.
teacher. That means then that gets on the child knowledge. Soon the summer was it, Lama Samba. Some choose child, child. Donald Koshi choose child. Come down by him, but Samba child. Lama Samba be not have to Sumongo, Yabundua, and into Tombo, choosing child, Songi to be. That is a good one. Yatane is the Zabachuatella, Jim Shantiluka, Yambataching Gamito, but Sonama Dama Child. Niji Jay Gompatella, but Niji Chimp, something better.
And
that thing is here. Yambataching Gamit to Chiwasina, Yambataching Gamit to Chiwasina. Choosing to launch a bundle and temper to gamut to you. Carlison, choosing to launch a bandigo. Launch a rambalding, launch a rambalding, Tombo, Nansen and Nicholson, Dunson, Pardon Nansen and Tamana, someone Nansen and Nicholson, Dunson and says, you are in the launch a German on the world, on the Pinica. Tinza Mama. Naru to Pena gets John at Shamago and Pibway, Gentile, so the men. Anthony Kashi is Soma Nelson and Giver. Doa the Nelson and to imagine. Tune Doa the Nelson and the Java to swing, Soma Nelson and the Marin Dodo. What the singing John there? Lamatonga Pig, Naru Chamundar Titan. Tombo not the Nelson engine, then it is Pardon Nelson engine, then the Taman Nelson engine. The Nelson song of Temba County, Sunju song of Ganga. The Pangandi Mapa Yabuzu, the Temba Gamit to Chiwas, in the Tania. Indian relation ke contact to ka juchen dan chini za benon den se ke contact to ka juchen dan chini kanga shin bra yamba tan chin game to to e songa bu chi pen peling of the chu chen bu je ra song game to to ya
and then we have the greatness of the teaching. Also to talk about the greatness, reflecting on the greatness of the author, the teacher is in order to generate faith and respect for the teacher, and then reflecting upon the greatness of the teaching is in order to generate respect for the teaching. So here the first greatness is that independence upon the Lam Rim teaching, one comes to realize the how all the teachings of the Buddha complement each other. In order to illustrate that point, at the time period when a teacher was invited to Tibet, there was in Tibet a little bit the problem that the people were following different aspects of the Buddha Dharma, thinking that the other aspects of the Buddha Dharma were not for practice because they seemed contradictory. So because there are certain things that have to be practiced at the beginning, then there are certain things that have to be practiced in the middle, and then certain things that have to be practiced in the end. And sometimes what has to be practiced in the end seems to be contradictory with what has to be practiced at the beginning. And then through that come some misunderstandings. For example, in that time in Tibet, and those monks that following the practice of Vinaya, monastic discipline, regarded the practice of Tantra as unsuitable, and those following the practice of Tantra regarded the practice of monastic discipline as unsuitable, and so forth. And so for that reason, actually a teacher was invited to Tibet in order to again bring together the different, in order to again fuse together the different aspects of Buddhist practice, and to show that they're actually not contradictory, but they actually complement each other. So this first greatness of the Lam Rim teaching is that one comes to realize that none of the teachings of the Buddha contradict each other, but they all are complementary. And then upon realizing that all the teachings of the Buddha are complementary, one also comes to realize that all the teachings of the Buddha are meant as a personal advice. So there's nothing in the teachings of the Buddha that wasn't meant to be practiced by oneself. one naturally comes to abandon the great fault. The great fault refers to the fault of abandoning the Dharma, saying that certain aspects of the Buddha's teachings are not good, or that they are not the Buddha's teachings, and so forth. So by understanding how all the Buddha's teachings are complementary and are meant to be practiced by one individual, then naturally one abandons this great fault of disregarding certain aspects of the Buddha Dharma. And then so the one naturally abandons the great fault, because by recognizing that all the Buddhist teachings were meant to be practiced by oneself, then naturally one abandons this great fault of disregarding the Dharma. And then the fourth greatness of the Lam Rim teachings is that one easily comprehends the Buddha's intention, the conqueror's intention. Our lifetime is very brief. There is not much time in one short lifetime, and the canon of the Buddhist teachings is very big. There are 108 volumes of sutras and tantras attributed to the Buddha himself, and then there are over 300 volumes of commentaries stemming from ancient India that we are still that are still here. So that's not even including all the Tibetan commentaries, only what Sriyana has from India. So if one tries to become enlightened by studying those over 400 volumes, then it would be very difficult to find one's way through all that amount of material, and it would be very difficult to comprehend the intention of the Buddha. It would be very difficult to comprehend how the Buddha actually intended to teach, intended to guide the one individual from the beginner stages up to enlightenment. So, but by studying the Lam Rim text, then one can very easily understand how the Buddha meant for one individual to progress from the beginner stage up to enlightenment.